According to the American Heart Association, 70% of Americans say that they wouldn't know where to begin with CPR and wouldn't know what to do in the case of an emergency. 50% of parents reported saying that they wouldn't know what to do in the case of cardiac arrest and wouldn't know where to begin with CPR. Three main points I'll be covering today is when to administer infant CPR, where to administer infant CPR, and how to administer infant CPR. For about the last 9 years, I have taken care of children, and in the last 3 years, I've had infant CPR certification twice. I've done research and cross-checked my information to make sure that I am up to date. So I'll be discussing when to administer infant CPR, where to administer infant CPR, and how to administer infant CPR. So when? First, you're going to want to check if the baby is responsive. Next, you're going to want to check if the baby is breathing, and this is whether the baby is breathing at all or if the baby is breathing abnormally. For where to administer infant CPR, this could happen anywhere. It could be in public, it could be while taking care of a child, so it's good to have these skills in order to be able to help in a life-saving situation. So for how to administer infant CPR, there are 6 steps. Your first step is to check your surroundings and make sure the scene is safe. That'd be looking around, making sure there's no fires, making sure, everybody else is okay. Your second step would be to check if the baby is responsive. So how you're going to check if the baby is responsive is you're going to tap them on the foot and say, "Baby, are you okay? Baby, are you okay?" After you've checked if the baby is responsive and determined that the baby is not moving, after you've tapped them on the foot, you move on to the next step, which the next step is to find a hard, solid surface to place the baby on its back. This could be a sturdy table. Most often, the best use would be the ground. After you set the baby on its back, like so, then you're going to start with compression. So you're going to imagine that there's a line in between the baby's nipples. You're going to go right below that line. With 2 fingers, you're going to start compressions. So you begin compressions by doing a count of 30, and you're going to want to go about 1.5 inches deep, 1/3 of the depth of the chest. And with the compressions, you're going to want to do them at about 100 to 120 compressions per minute, and you can do this by singing "Staying Alive." So you just do, and you do that 30 times. After 30 times of compressions, you're going to move on to your next step. Your next step is going to be rescue breaths. So administering rescue breaths, what you're going to want to do is to first open the baby's airway by lifting the chin and tilting the head back. So you would put 2 fingers under the baby's chin and tilt the head back. When you go to administer breaths, you're wanting to do 2, and they're going to want to last about a second long. You're going to want to see the chest rise. So you're going to administer breaths by placing your mouth over the baby's nose and mouth to administer breaths. After 2 breaths, then you're going on to step 6, which would be at this point, after you've done this for about 2 minutes, if you're alone, you're going to want to call 911. You're going to want to put it on speakerphone and tell the operator the situation and where you're at, and then go back to administering CPR unless given instructions otherwise. So we've discussed several important things to know about infant CPR. So we've discussed when we can administer CPR, where we can administer CPR, and how we can administer CPR. So you'll know what to do in the case of an emergency situation, and hopefully you'll never have to use it, but if you have to, then you have the life-saving ability. So, first card, second card, third card, fourth card.